I think the first thing we got to get into is some big news we got this morning that I think a bunch of us expected, but here it is. We got the Super Bowl coming up next week. Robinhood officially unveils Super Bowl event trading contracts. Roy, we'll start with you. What was your raw reaction to this?
Yeah, I mean, when we talked about it maybe a couple months ago, back in, I think we're close to episode 10, we're episode 9 today. I thought, I was skeptical. I was like, well, they need a different partner to back end it, because the partner that they had for the other event contract, they don't do sports betting. I thought that if they did sports betting, it made sense to do the Tyson fight. They didn't end up doing that. So I was like, well, probably sports betting, not on the table. Vlad had some comments that were taken out of context too at an investor day. And, initially when we talked about it, I was like, no, it's probably not going to happen. And then I began to change my mind, and I won't say everything that went into that. But no, I think that this is really interesting. We'll have to see. I don't think it'll have quite the traction as the election betting, just because there's a lot of different services on that. But
sure,
no, I think that this is fine. This is good. I don't see it in my app yet, but the nice thing about this is, so the election betting, I don't know that they'll do that on an annual basis, just because like the presidential election is really the most important, has a focus. But Super Bowl comes every single year, and World Series and NBA, March Madness, all those sorts of things. And so there's a lot of opportunity with some of those bigger events that are really get people's attention to make some real revenue off of that for Robinhood.
Tanner, your take?
This is awesome. I love it. I keep going back with the event contracts, is that it's not as much the contracts and the revenue that they're going to make there. It's more on the, hey, another reason that you don't have to take your money and go somewhere else. And so if you can spend there, if you can pay your bills at Robinhood, if you can invest there, if you can have fun there with your money, like what a lot of people do with betting and taking those off to different apps like DraftKings or Kalshi or something like this. And we'll explain the partnership of, Robinhood's Super Bowl contracts, which is Kalshi. But there's so much more that they're going to do here. And I just love not only the event contract, but the fact that people are not going to have to take their money off for just another reason. It is so amazing. I think Kalshi was a perfect partner. And I'm very excited.
So Kalshi means that we are going to be sharing the spread of the revenue of each contract based on how they negotiated the deal. Maybe there is no spread that they have to share with because they're bringing Kalshi all this distribution. But what do you guys think about that? Why do you think we partnered with Kalshi on this one?
We had to share the spread with Forecast Exchange before. Now we're sharing the spread with Kalshi. I don't see how it's different.
Yeah. And could Robinhood build something, eventually that does what this does? Probably, but it'll take time. They've intentionally kept their workforce very concentrated, and that's a pretty different type of product than they have built out before. So the interface is really nice and slick. I'm assuming it's the same thing as the other elections betting, but that takes time. And what they wanted to do is just grab the bull by the horns while it's running, and so here we are.
This was the company that we were dealing with previously. I guess previously, because we don't have any event contracts running right now with them, but this is how we got the election betting software up and running. And I suspect that they will continue to do more with them in the future, right? You have all these things that I actually think run very in tandem with the products that like you're already in, like stocks and options and everything. Why not bet on Fed funds rates, initial job claims, all these different things.
So I have a question. If we made a cent per contract, that means we shared the $5 million we made with this company on elections, is what you're saying?
That's my understanding.
So we made 50 cents theoretically.
Well, it might not be 50-50. I don't know what the split is. I'm sure they're not doing it for free.
No, I don't know about Kalshi. I looked at the elections betting, and the 5 million was the 5 million for Robinhood. They made, I can't remember how they worked it out. Maybe it was the spread between the rates or something like that. But
but we made 1 cent of profit for each of revenue for each one.
And I think one went to the other exchange, and maybe that might be what they're doing with call sheet here too.
Yeah, maybe then they're charging more than 1 cent.
Yeah.
Like, so if you say Robinhood walks out with more than 1 cent, then that's probably the same thing on the Super Bowl side.
Yeah.
You know,
I guess they're admitting Kalshi has built a really good back end, better than the other partner they used, and they'd rather work with. Kalshi also has way more liquidity, I would imagine, right? And so that's probably where the partnership came from, which I think makes sense at the end.
In all due respect to Tanner, but you're a nerd, and you like those like job.
That was so aggressive, bro.
We're supposed to hate Canada now, I think. All right? No, I'm just kidding.
no, it's over, man.
Yeah,
You're
okay,
bringing all
okay.
the morning drama
All
into
right,
the
we're
late
back
night
to
show.
friends. Love you, Tanner. You're awesome.
Not to be mean, but you're a piece of shit. That's how I interpret it.
But the reality
Only this morning, whenever you're sending me hate mail, was I understanding.
So the event contracts, if they were all about like jobless claims and stuff, I mean, a few people would use that, but that's not going to get a lot of traction.
I agree.
And so, Call Sheet, they're actually able to offer things that people are interested in a lot more so.
I don't know. Yeah. I think they're different audiences, right? You get people that are betting on stocks. I think they probably have something to say about CPI and stuff like this as well.
Yeah.
Sorry, what's this?
Yeah, CPI would be fine. Like people are interested in that, but yeah, here's another one.
Well, here's the thing. Does Hood want to become a platform where people are betting on a bunch of stuff, or does Hood want to capture these cultural moments like the Oscars, the Grammys, Super Bowl, etc., and get people to care? Because I think Kalshi definitely wants to be like bet on the weather tomorrow, but I don't think Hood wants to be that, right? Like, yeah, that's not what they're going after.
I think that the cultural moments are exciting, but why not have the CPI ones run full time?
Like, it depends if Hood wants to be a legit betting market platform, right?
I don't see why they wouldn't
one
want
concern with, and the reason why I initially didn't think that they're going to do sports betting is just there's an additional level of scrutiny and regulation, and I don't know if they kind of get past that by partnering with Kalshi. That might be one of the other reasons why they're doing that. So it may also limit what they're able or willing to do, and it seems like they're at least dipping their toe in the water. So we'll see.
Yeah. Either way, it's very exciting. And by the way, we didn't even talk last week about another derivatives product that they've been working on. Amit,
which is what?
Futures.
Well, it wasn't live on Monday, but yeah. Okay, so let's talk about that. Futures. What's your take, Tanner? Now the futures are up.
Unfreaking believable. This is a very high take rate product. Mixes very well with margin accounts. I think that lined up well with them offering 2% for people that brought over $10,000 or more of margin. Which also lines up very well with a very long list of futures contracts. But yeah, I think that this is just another one of their plans of, okay, offering more and more products that, by the way, are all profitable. There's no Costco chicken here, no loss leaders. All of them are profitable and standalone, including the credit card. They made that very clear during the investor day. And I think that they could have a real options effect with what they did with options. A lot of people looked at the total addressable market there and then realized after Robinhood got their hands on options and their user base really took over, the total addressable market skyrocketed. And I think that futures could become much more popular. It's already a very big product, by the way, 24/7. Well, 24/5, and tons of liquidity there, and obviously a lot of money that goes towards Robinhood. And they're lowering the fees, but people need to realize that the fees are also not all them, and that the fees are still going to be high because there's a lot of regulatory fees and other market makers there. But yeah, really cool product.
Yeah, CBOE is who they partnered to be able to launch that, and I haven't looked at it, so it's not top of my mind in a little while, but they've mentioned just how much futures are growing on their platform as well. And this is one of those that I'm curious, like we see where the market is right now. And it, like everything Tanner said, that's true. But we also know when Robinhood enters a new space like this, like what they did with options, that retail was not using options often and regularly. And you can argue whether or not, retail should or what they should do. I like them having access. So I love having access. That's why I'm on the Robinhood platform as well. And with futures, it's not a product that gets. There's some people that are retail that love futures, but a lot of us just avoid it. It is a margin product, so you have to be careful with it. But I'll personally be trying it out just a little bit. But it seems pretty fun. The layout is pretty interesting, and it's another way for somebody to use knowledge that they may not be able to judge whether a stock is great or a company is great, but they're a farmer and they're like, oh yeah, corn's going up. There you go, futures.
They want this to be a 9-figure business. So just take what they're already growing at, which all their product lines are growing very fast. And now add in another product line that could potentially be bringing in $100+ million a year. And, whenever they say 9 figures, I don't think they mean the very bottom rung of 9 figures.
Well, here's another question. How much futures adoption do you think is actually going to happen when they roll it out? I know certain accounts are getting it, but do you think it can be as big as 150 million options contracts traded every month, every quarter?
It's hard to know.
Every month, so it's like 400 million every quarter. But do you think it has the potential of getting there?
Yeah, I think with things like micro contracts and whatever they're going to do there and expand on allowing for, smaller dollar accounts to still be able to participate, I could see it being very popular. Now, the interesting thing with the micro contracts versus the regular contracts is the fee is the same for Robinhood. They make the same.
And I imagine more people that are going to use that, including myself, because I just don't want to have that much cash sitting there or bump my margin amount up beyond the free amount that's allocated, are going to be using the micros. So, I think it'll take a little while to gain traction. There will be some people that try it and are like, oh, this is terrible, or I'm bad at this. I have no idea what I'm doing, in which case back away. But, there's some that have wanted this product for a long time. And I don't know as far as I haven't done deep research, but I know that their rates are at least comparable to other brokers. Their interface is so much more clean. That graphic that you brought up, Amit, where the guy compared what Schwab does and how they offer it versus Robinhood, it feels like being on the internet in the in the late 90s versus today. It's just one is clunky and just awkward and not well laid out and not natural. The other, it's just, I know how to do this.
Yeah, Josh right here posted this video of doing the ladder on Hood, and it's smooth. It's very, very smooth. So
yeah, the ladder's crazy. I remember watching that. Roy and I were sitting there watching the ladder. I was like, man, this is going to be addictive.
Yeah. This is Schwab, by the way.
This is Schwab. Sorry. This is Schwab. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you were like, oh, Hood sucks, look at that. It's like, no,
the ladder looks very interesting, which is not this. You'll see it here in a second.
Yeah.
Oh, look at
There you
that.
go.
That's sexy, dude.
But it's just drag and drop. So if you want to potentially change your position, like the speed at which they'll allow you to do stuff is unbelievable.
Bam.
So if you watch him right now, he has, that hit pretty quick. But if it's not hitting, you can either potentially drop it closer to where it might actually strike at, or potentially you can change your position. It happens all in an instant. They did a couple of videos on this during the Robinhood summit, but yeah. And then each futures contract, like you can continue to buy, and that screen won't continue to come up asking you to buy. Once you're actually buying them, you can sort of fiddle it until you're done with your session and then close everything out. It's pretty interesting. I think the ladder's genius. I think that this will become very popular. I've got a couple friends that all they do is S&P futures. They don't buy stock. That's all they do is play in futures. Yeah. And I think you're going to see a couple people online, similar to what TJ did for options on Robinhood, is their whole thing is going to be around futures on Robinhood, and that's going to cultivate audiences, and then those people are going to want to use those products, and they're not going to go to Schwab for that. They're going to go to Robinhood for that.
Yeah, Fut is another one. Fut Bucker, he's big into futures, like all the time talking about them. So, but there's certain people that gravitate towards that. I think some of those will probably switch to Robinhood, especially if it's a comparable price and it's just easy. And then there will be a lot of people that this is their first time, including myself, playing with futures. I don't know if it's a good fit for me. Probably not. But I'll give it a try. I want to check it out myself. So lose a little bit of money there.
I don't think I'm going to be trading futures because for me the time is always now. So I think I'm not going to be a client for this product. Anyway,
I think you will be. By the way, I do think that you are going to be getting into Robinhood futures.
Dude, I don't
There's
know.
some truth behind that.
I don't know what futures are, dude. I'm not educated on this.
Yeah, but Chris Patel will get you interested in it, and then you're going to end up getting
Dude, Chris is the reason I'm a degen.
Yes.
Chris is the reason I'm a degen.
Spreads. Yeah, I remember that too.
The day Chris taught me about spreads, bro, it was 3 a.m. I remember. He was like, you could sell a call and buy a call against each other. I was like, what? Because it makes buying a long call much cheaper because you're getting premium from selling the call. It caps your profit, obviously, but if you have a certain return you want to get, I mean, 300-400% in a couple of years is still pretty incredible, even if it's not like a 10x. Everything changed, bro. Everything changed once I learned that strategy. Maybe it's the same with futures. Who knows?
It will be. Because
I mean, like
you would have looked at that as too complex.
In Miami, it wasn't in New York, but in Miami, they mentioned, that it was such a addictive product for some of their people that worked on it that they had to ban it during meetings. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Dude, am I gonna be trading futures now? Is that what I'm doing? That's
I think
everyone in the chat is like, oh boy, this guy's about to blow up in front of all in front of us.
That might be in your future. We'll see. Who knows? But I think that's one of those things where a lot of people will try it, and then some people just absolutely gravitate towards that and do better with it than stocks. And I think that's what Robinhood is trying to do is offer a lot of different tools and access to those tools, understanding of how to use those tools, and of course the risks there as well, and figure out something that works for you. And really, that's what investing is about. Is if some dude is making buckets on betting on the price of wheat. Good. Do that. You don't need to invest in stocks and crypto and all that if you're making a killing on futures. And there's people that just do that and only that. So
yeah, if you want to bet on the fluctuation of oil, it's like, why, you can put a 30 plus times multiple on that because it's not going to move much. So they create contracts that will make it move that extreme leverage on things that should be relatively stable.